St. Francis, good morning, people of God. It is Thursday, the 23rd day of January 2024. It is Thursday of the second week of the year, the second week in Ordinary Time. And it is also today the memorial of St. Marianne Cope. She is an optional memorial on the universal calendar, but on the Franciscan calendar, she is a memorial that we would observe because she was a Franciscan sister who helped St. Damien in Molokai, on the island of Molokai in Hawaii, deal with the help out to alleviate the suffering of the leper colony that was there on Molokai, and so she becomes this great assistant to Saint Damien, showing Franciscan compassion and charity and care again for those who are most in need of it. Damien was not a Franciscan, but Marianne was, and so I'm coming to you today from the Marianne Cope playground here at our preschool, which was donated by a generous donation from one of our benefactors here at the St. Francis preschool, and so a beautiful little playground covered in snow right now because we still are dealing with the cold temperatures and the snow that fell a little bit yesterday, so it still is a little bit cool out today. It is a delayed opening for us today here at both the preschool and at TFS, just to make sure the roads were not as icy as they might have been given the snow melting and then refreezing overnight. So here we go. So beautiful Marianne Cope playground honoring her and her legacy and her memory of being a person of care, of generosity, of sincerity, of looking out for others, and especially perhaps for the children who may have been struck with leprosy in the colony on the island of Molokai. So our readings for today, we continue with Hebrews. We continue with again the description of Jesus as this high priest who now intercedes before God, between humanity and God. A high priest who is the ultimate of the high priests, a priest who doesn't need any kind of backing by humanity, any kind of accreditation by humanity, but again a priest who is designated as such, as mediator, so that humanity can no longer be afraid of God, or no longer live before God, again trying to create the most incredible kinds of dispositions, the most incredible kinds of attitudes and behaviors that are impossible for human beings to ever really truly succeed at. Again, this idea of trying to make God making us as pleasing to God and making God as happy as possible. Again, an impossible task that was not going to end well ever. And so the writer to the Hebrews, recognizing the fact of who Christ is and who he should be, again, as this mediator between God and humanity, the one who basically doesn't, he's not a lawyer, he's not somebody who's trying to convince God to like us. He is the one who brings us to God and tells us not to be afraid, because God is wanting to do nothing else than love us. God is wanting to do nothing else than be, in our lives and allow God, to enter into God's own life, allowing us to enter into God's own life. This is what, this is where our focus should be. This is what our aim should be all the time. Yes, it says in this letter that Jesus is set apart from sinners, and that's because he is chosen by God to do so. That is about all that it says. And the important thing about it is he is, again, the one who is priest, the one who is mediator. What will happen over history and again over time will be that Jesus moves from being the mediator between us and God to being God. And so we lose a mediator. And who has to substitute for that? Well, sometimes Mary, most times the saints. Again, people whose creation and people whose job and responsibilities was never, ever supposed to do that, nor can they do that, because they are human beings. Again, this is where again, the letter to the Hebrews, it's constantly saying that something else has happened to Christ that allows him to be, more than what a human could do, more than what a human could be. Not yet linking him with God, but still, again, the sense in which human beings can only go so far in trying to, create this link between God and ourselves, or recognize that there is a link between God and ourselves. It is only Christ, who can do it fully, who can do it, without problem, without any kind of fear, without any kind of discrepancy. And so, the importance of recognizing that, again, that the Hebrews understood Jesus to be what we need as human beings, a mediator who knows God, who understands God, again, who will be linked to God and will be God, but still for the time being, is one whom God has chosen for this special task, and a task that should never have been taken away from him, to begin with and given to other people. In Mark's gospel, again, it's just a series, again, of people wanting to be close to Jesus, wanting to be near him because he's doing these great miracles, these great incredible tasks, and casting out demons left and right. And they all just want the special effect. They all want to be, near him to experience, some of the special effect. Are they being drawn to faith? Are they being brought to faith? It does not seem so. And so, again, the whole idea to get into a boat and go to the other side of the lake, to get away from some of these people, because all they want is what's in it for them. All they want is something that's for them. Again, he casts out a couple of demons, and he tells them not to make him aware or make him known, not to tell people his name and whatever it is. But again, it's just kind of running now into, again, within this third, fourth chapter of Mark, we're running into this whole problem of people wanting Jesus for the special effect and not wanting Jesus for the transformation that he can offer in our lives. That's sometimes where we find ourselves also too today, is we want Jesus for the special effects. We want Jesus for what Jesus can grant us, whatever wishes we have, whatever wants we have, that Jesus can do this, but we don't want the transformation of heart, which is the true, experience of Christ, the true experience of what it is he comes to bring. A blessed day, St. Francis and people of God, a blessed feast of Marianne Cope. May the Lord give you his peace.